Welcome back to my channel, Famous and Fabulous. What if the whole lot you perception you knew, approximately, Hollywood legend Gene Hackman, Wassar lie within the again of the Oscars and the reputation? There was an aspect of Hackman so secretive, so unsettling, that even his closest group of workers have been forbidden from getting too close for 2 decades. His dependable Maid saved quiet, till now hidden rooms unexplained, sounds in the useless of nighttime and a discovery so chilling it can alternate. His legacy forever. What changed into Gene Hackman? Hiding in his final days, stay tuned. Due to the truth, the reality is extra shocking than you may ever consider. Gene Hackman and his spouse Betsy Arakawa had been placed lifeless of their Santa Fe home on February 26, 2025 at 95. Hackman had succumbed to heart disorder and advanced Alzheimer's at the same time. Ash's 65-year antique wife died from hantavirus, a rare rodent-transmitted contamination. Their appreciated dog Xena have become also found deceased, possibly from dehydration and hunger after. Her owners had surpassed at the floor. It appeared like a tragic give-up to a Hollywood legend who had retreated from the spotlight many years inside the past to stay a quiet existence in New Mexico. But as we are approximately to discover, there was not something every day about Gene Hackman's final financial ruin. In fact, what investigators decided in his mansion has sparked conspiracy theories that maintain toe spread throughout social media systems. Like wildfire this night, we are diving deep into the thriller that surrounds, considered one among cinema's finest actors, and the secrets and techniques that died with him, or did they? For over a long term, Maria Delgado served because the Hackmans depended on Maid, greater than just personnel. She have grown to be an element familiar with the each-day exercises and private moments of this famous, however reclusive, couple. Maria changed into responsible, no longer only for cleaning their 12-acre Santa Fe property, however also for personal errands and supporting with each-day desires as Hackman elderly. This near dating gave her precise insights into the circle of relatives' dynamics. However, there has been one part of the house Maria was never allowed to input, a room that remained permanently locked, its key nowhere to be positioned. In uncommon interview following the Hackmans' deaths, Maria found out this strictly forbidden room have been the difficulty of whispers amongst frame of employees for years. Mr. Hackman modified into commonly kind and affordable. Maria described, however, while it got here to that room, his demeanor may change, absolutely no character become allowed. Internal, no longer even for cleaning on occasion. I'd see him save you at the door vicinity, he's hand on it, and let loose this heavy sigh like he have become wearing some element painful. What made the scenario even greater, unsettling, have been the ordinary noises. Maria claimed to pay interest coming from behind that door, overdue at night time. I might be staying in an unmarried day. If Mrs. Hackman became away, and I'd listen what seemed like whispering or footsteps once I'd mention it. The subsequent morning, Mr. Hackman ought to push aside it as the residents settling or my creativeness, those eerie sounds, most effective intensified hypothesis about what the room may additionally consist of have become. It actually a personal sanctuary where Hackman saved memorabilia from his illustrious Hollywood career or hinged into it, something a protracted manner. Greater sinister, Maria said. She once glimpsed internal whilst Hackman opened the door, seeing only darkness and what regarded to be wooden shelves lining the partitions. Something modified interstored there. Hackman definitely supposed it to remain his secret. The mystery of Gene Hackman's mansion prolonged past just the forbidden room. In 2024, a maintenance worker named Richard Henry made a discovery that might, in the end, gasoline wild conspiracy theories, even as checking the basement heating machine, the usage of thermal imaging tool. Henry detected what regarded to be a whole area below the inspiration, a space that did not appear on any of the property's architectural plans. I double-checked my device, wondering it need to be a few type of errors, Henry stated in an interview with a nearby Santa Fe newspaper. However, their readings had been regular. There has been actually a whole area down there, approximately the dimensions of a small hall. Whilst Henry pronounced his findings to the property manager, he became advised in uncertain phrases that there has been no need to research similarly. The abrupt dismissal of his issues struck Henry as normal in particular for the purpose that a capacity structural hassle ought to affect. The house's protection. This discovery speedy gave upward push to rumours that the Hackman property contained a Civil War generation tunnel, probably used by wealthy households, to disguise valuables or offer breakout routes. Even though there have been no ancient data to useful resource the life of such a tunnel on the belongings that did not stop, the speculation in March 2025, rapidly after the Hackman's deaths were made, public associates advised seeing unmarked black cars close to the property. Past due at night time, some even claimed to have spotted people carrying what seemed to be FBI jackets. Even though no valid research became ever confirmed, the one's sightings NICE delivered goes to the growing online conspiracy. Theory's maximum bizarre turned into the emergence of the quantity 701 plus social media structures, with some customers suggesting it referred to our bodies located inside the tunnel under Hackman's mansion, a very unfounded claim that despite the fact that unfold unexpectedly across TikTok, Reddit and Zat, the same time as the overall public became captivated via thesis sensational stories, a greater tangible drama changed into unfolding round Hackman's massive assets. The actor had accumulated large wealth during his profession. However, did no longer update his will in over a long term. His very last will named his wife Betsy as the only executive and manager of his property, with both Jean and Betsy passing away so close to together. 8-crook vacuum emerge as created. It's far a traditional instance of what we call a failure Toplin, described Laura Cowan, an estate planning legal professional not affiliated with the Hackman family, while you call simply one character as your government or trustee, without designating a successor, and that individual predecesses you or dear simultaneously. It creates a substantial felony task. Hackman's circle of relatives has filed for a brief trustee to manipulate the estate until the court docket can decide a way to proceed. But the gadget should drag on for months, if now not years. The headaches surrounding Hackman's estate enlarge beyond virtually financial topics. There may be additionally the question of how we'll manipulate his legacy, the narrative of his existence and profession, in order to be provided to the general public. This factor has turned out to be especially critical given the mysteries and rumours that now surround his final years. Hackman's youngsters from his first marriage now discover themselves inside the characteristic of getting to navigate no longer only the distribution of his asset, however, additionally, the safety of his reputation amid growing public fascination with the activities of his dying. The state of affairs has reportedly created tension inside the family, with disagreements over how open they ought to be about the research into Hackman's passing and what facts need to be shared with the general public, such as to the mystery are inconsistencies in the timeline surrounding the deaths, steady with preliminary police critiques. Betsy Arakawa modified into believed to have died quick after Hackman, but data from a close-by health facility discovered that a person had known as to make an appointment for Betsy the day after. Government to begin with, concept she had surpassed away. This discrepancy has raised questions about the accuracy of their search's timeline and what can also have passed off within the one's final days. Health workers confirmed that Hackman's pacemaker had stopped going for walks 9 days earlier than the our bodies were located, supplying a pretty clean time body for his demise. But Betsy's time of dying has examined extra difficult to establish, with fact specifically given the unusual nature of hantavirus infections that could improvement at diverse costs. The Hackman family has taken legal movement to prevent the discharge of autopsy images and sure info of the research, a skip that on the identical time. As comprehensible for privateness reasons has handiest intensified public hobby, a few have interpreted this as an attempt to cover uncomfortable truths, at the same time as others see it surely as a family defensive the attention of their cherished ones. Either way, it has contributed to the air of thriller of mystery that maintains to construct round Gene Hackman's final days. Aggregate of a forbidden room, rumours of a thriller tunnel, splendid sightings, close to the belongings after the deaths and criminal battles over his belongings, has transformed what might have been honest finishing into a few elemental ways greater, complex and mysterious in existence. Gene Hackman changed into regarded for his outstanding range as an actor bringing depth and authenticity to characters from Papy Doyle in The French. Connection to Royal Tenenbaum. In The Royal Tenenbaum, he constructed a profession playing men with secrets, men dwelling on the brink guys with complex pasts. Now in death, it seems Hackman himself might also moreover have been harboring secrets of his very own, the Santa Fe mansion he shared with Betsy come to be supposed to be their sanctuary. Far away from Hollywood's prying eyes, they designed it together in the Salon, 1980s, growing a home that meditated, their desire for privateness and connection to nature. They have become valued members of their network, even co-founding Pandora as a domestic decor store that showcased worldwide fabric and celebrated local artistry. To their friends, they were truly Gene and Betsy personal individuals who valued their peace and quiet. However, the revelations which have emerged, considering their deaths paint a greater complicated photo, changed into Gene Hackman, honestly, a personal guy who valued his solitude, or became there some component more in the back of his reclusiveness? Did the forbidden room comprise innocent non-public items he needed to keep personal, or a few component more troubling, and what approximately the mysterious hollow area below the foundation come to be it truly proof of a hidden tunnel? Or clearly an architectural quirk that has been blown out of percentage because the studies continues, and additional info emerged, the overall public remains captivated through those unanswered questions. Gene Hackman's lifestyle story, as soon as described by way of manner of his splendid abilities and contributions to cinema, is now intertwined with mystery and hypothesis, possibly maximum poignant, is the contrast among Hackman's public and personal personas on screen. He modified into known for his effective presence and capacity to convey complex emotions off-screen. He became more and more guarded and enigmatic, the Gene Hackman that audiences knew from his films, direct, unflinching, authentic, appears at odds with the secretive parent defined by manner of these who worked in his home. Or possibly they're not so one of a kind after all. Possibly the intensity that made Hackman this form of compelling actor additionally manifested in his private existence, growing a man of deep passions and further deep secrets. As we keep to resolve the mysteries surrounding Gene Hackman's lifestyles and dying, we are pressured to confront the reality that even individuals who stay in the public eye can remain essentially unknown to us. We also can never recognize what modified into in the lower back of that locked door in Gene Hackman's mansion, or what secrets and techniques and strategies he carried to his grave. But probably it's turning into, for a man who spent his profession bringing complicated, mysterious characters to life on show, the road among Hackman's public personality and personal reality has grown to be as blurred because the boundary among truth and fiction inside Theramas surrounding his loss of life. One detail is sure: Gene Hackman's legacy now extends beyond his filmography to consist of the enigma of his final bankruptcy. As you bear in mind the mysteries we have explored these days, ask yourself, this do Weaver without a doubt know the human beings we respect from afar? Or are we truly target audience, participants witnessing most effective the overall performance they choose to share with the arena? For Gene Hackman, the final curtain has fallen, but the questions his lifestyles and loss of life have raised will linger on, reminding us that occasionally the finest mysteries aren't observed in fiction but in the shadowed corners of real lives live honestly past our expertise completing